Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a commerce network that, honestly, feels like it was pulled straight out of a high-tech graphic novel. We're looking at how three distinct commercial actors are teaming up using generative AI to completely conquer the world of bespoke fashion. It's a really fascinating look at high-speed manufacturing, frictionless technology, and just brilliant unit economics. Right off the bat, that is the central mystery of our story today. Just imagine a world where a totally custom, culturally sensitive, stunningly beautiful textile design is created, approved, funded, and physically manufactured in just 3 days. And the crazy part? All of this happens without the customer ever leaving their favorite messaging app. Okay, let's dive into this and see exactly how this zero-friction commerce engine actually works. To really wrap our heads around this ecosystem, we need to introduce our three heroes. First up, the customer, who wants bespoke Ankara fabric for a special event. Second, we have the brand partner, or reseller, who's an independent business owner. They own the customer relationship and want to sell high-end fashion without ever touching a sewing machine. And third, the fulfillment partner, the industrial speedster who brings these digital designs into physical reality. An invisible AI platform acts as the ultimate orchestrator, seamlessly uniting all three of them through a single workflow. Let's start with our first hero, the customer. Their entire journey is defined by a single powerful number, 0. That's exactly how many new apps they need to download. That's their ultimate superpower here. There are no complicated user accounts to create, absolutely no passwords to remember, and no clunky web portals to navigate. Their whole journey, from the initial spark of discovery to the final purchase, happens exactly where they already hang out, directly inside a conversational thread on WhatsApp. So the customer enters this ecosystem through a simple link provided by the reseller. Instantly, an AI steps in as their personal textile designer. But instead of forcing the customer to fill out one of those rigid, infinitely long web forms we all hate, the AI conducts a dynamic, conversational interview. For example, if the customer says they're prepping for a traditional Yoruba wedding, the AI instantly adapts. It shifts its questions to prioritize the cultural conventions, the emotional core, and the color meaning specific to that exact context. Behind the scenes, it's like a giant puzzle. The AI is methodically filling out an invisible schema. It asks one question at a time, moving fields from an unknown state to approved as it builds confidence. And crucially, it never makes dangerous assumptions. It's actually built with a strict cultural sensitivity gate. So if it detects inputs that might involve, say, sacred symbols or funerary imagery, it pauses and asks for clarification. It flawlessly captures all those rich cultural nuances, like a requested palette of deep burgundy, ivory, and muted gold to represent family heritage. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how the AI creates the visual output. It doesn't just spit out a generic, boring swatch. Using a model like Higgsfield, it generates a pristine 4-zone pattern board. You get a seamless, tileable flat lay on the primary panel. Then, macro insets showing authentic wax print character. We're talking organic line work and dye modeling, so it looks like real, tangible cloth, not some sterile vector drawing. Finally, it drops in labeled swatch chips matching that specific burgundy and gold palette. This creates a remarkably smooth, basically triumphant flow for the customer. Think about it. They describe their event, they approve the pattern board, and then the AI generates a multi-panel storyboard showing what the fabric will actually look like in action. It'll literally generate images of wedding guests wearing agbadas and galets in that exact bespoke burgundy and gold design. Seeing that emotional context, the customer enthusiastically commits to buy. It's design before commerce, and it's completely friction-free. But hey, while the customer is happily finalizing their Yoruba wedding order on WhatsApp, let's shift our perspective. Like a dynamic comic book panel shift. Let's check in on our second hero, the brand partner, or reseller, over at their command center. The reseller essentially operates out of a lightweight, mobile-first progressive web app. They can run their entire white-label AI business right from a smartphone. This dashboard features their own logo, custom colors, and their own branded customer invoicing. What's so compelling here is the contrast. Despite the massive AI horsepower driving the front-end experience, the reseller has literally zero AI infrastructure to manage. They spin up this design business in minutes without ever touching the underlying tech. And this brilliantly illustrates the core commercial principle of the whole network. This is a true reseller model, not just some affiliate program. The platform charges a set base price for fulfillment, let's say 80,000 naira to produce that wedding fabric. The reseller independently sets their own retail price for their customer, say 125,000 naira. The customer pays the reseller directly. Then, the reseller pays the platform the base price to trigger the production. That is a massive victory for our second hero. By bridging the gap between the platform's AI and the customer's desire for that specific wedding attire, the reseller earns a 45,000 naira gross margin on a single transaction. And they earn this entirely through standard retail markup, owning the customer relationship from start to finish, totally independent of the platform's core brand identity. Okay, so the design is approved, the base price is paid. Enter our final hero, the fulfillment partner. This is the industrial speedster of the ecosystem. They don't chat with the customer, they don't do design revisions, they exist for one reason: to take an approved, funded digital dream and rapidly turn it into a physical product. The fulfillment partner's superpower is that they rely on absolute clarity. They receive a structured, crystal clear production package. It has the finalized pattern, strict production specifications, the exact fabric requirements, and delivery details. But most importantly, the package clearly states that the payment status is cleared. They are strictly in the business of manufacturing, not chasing invoices. They do not lift a finger until funds are fully secured. The exact second that pre-funded production package hits their queue, a strict service level agreement kicks in. 0 hours marks payment cleared and spec completion. Within 24 hours, the order is physically in production. By hour 48, it is printed, cut, and ready for dispatch. And by the end of the timeline, that bespoke burgundy and gold fabric is delivered exactly on time for the wedding. 72 hours. That is the ultimate metric that defines this system. A customer goes from texting a description of their dream wedding on WhatsApp to holding custom-manufactured, authentic-looking Ankara wax print fabric in exactly 3 days. It perfectly highlights the contrast between the front-end ease of conversation and the back-end speed of industrial production. And all of it is possible because the AI removed every ounce of friction upstream. Now, you might be wondering, what happens if the customer wants a change before they buy? Doesn't that completely bog things down? Actually, no. And that's thanks to a secret weapon under the hood called the revision engine. When a customer says, hey, change the motif or make it a bit more traditional, the engine classifies the request and instantly patches only that specific design layer. It generates a brand new version without ever overwriting the locked canonical asset. It is clean, traceable, and incredibly fast. Let's move to and see how this builds into cost control. Underpinning all of this is an incredibly intelligent approach to platform economics. The system actually evaluates which image generation model can handle the task and dynamically selects the cheapest capable one. For instance, it defaults to something like GPT_image2 at half a credit per generation. But if it needs higher precision for something complex, it automatically falls back to a heavier model like Nano Banana Pro. And this robust back-end tech supports a beautifully strict financial ledger. The platform maintains total, crystal clear separation between the customer's retail payment to the reseller and the reseller's fulfillment payment to the platform. The platform never, ever confuses the reseller's retail margin with its own revenue. This pristine financial architecture guarantees trust, scalability, and clean bookkeeping across the whole network. So, the crucial point is how this entire step-by-step loop flawlessly brings all three heroes together into one unbroken chain. The customer chats and discovers, they describe and see, they approve and buy. That directly triggers the reseller to collect their markup, which seamlessly signals the fulfillment partner to produce and deliver the physical goods. The ultimate result here is a unified commerce ecosystem that yields incredibly profitable outcomes for absolutely everyone involved. The customer gets an emotional, bespoke design experience with zero friction. The reseller gets a high-margin business with zero manufacturing or tech overhead. And the fulfillment partner, they get a steady, reliable stream of perfectly specified, pre-funded orders to manufacture at rapid speed. Which leaves us with a rather profound cliffhanger to consider. We've just seen a multi-tenant AI perfectly orchestrate highly complex bespoke fashion from raw conversation to physical delivery in 72 hours using little more than WhatsApp on the front end. It completely bypasses traditional apps, clunky forms, and all those legacy commerce bottlenecks. So I have to ask, if this is what the future of zero-friction commerce looks like right now, what is your current tech stack really doing for you? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. I'll see you next time.